Okay. Hello. Hey everybody, you all ready to go? That sounds good. Hello Mocha, my name is Fritz, and I'm going to tell to you today about my cocktail called Frontier Medicine. While I'm just chilling this glass, I'm going to talk a little bit about sort of the early American pioneers. These are the people that went to America from Europe and they headed westward. They headed in search of fertile ground, and the way they found that fertile ground was they followed tracks in the dirt made by herds of thousands and thousands of buffalo. So following these buffalo, they went to find fertile ground, and they settled there and made a shit ton of whiskey. Before 1920, there were hundreds and hundreds of distilleries around Kentucky, loads and loads and loads of them. Then, by the time of 1920, alcohol became illegal, and all of these distilleries shut down. Most of them are really, really small ones, sort of mom and pop, as they call them, distilleries, but a few stuck around, one of which was the Buffalo Trace Distillery. The Buffalo Trace Distillery itself actually had, it was allowed to give whiskey or to sell whiskey for medicinal purposes. So if you were sick, you could go to your doctor and you could say, "Oh, I've got a headache, need a prescription, hit me up," and then your doctor would write something out for you, and you'd be out a litre of whiskey every 10 days. Ooh, nice one. And so, when this happened, everybody got sick. Babies got sick because they had teething problems, so they put a little whiskey on there. Grannies got sick, everybody got sick. Yeah, so that's how people got their whiskey. So my cocktail is based around the idea of whiskey as a medicine. It also draws inspiration from the Sazerac cocktail, which is often attributed to Mr. Peychaud, who would operate, he had his pharmacy, and he had a warrant to sell whiskey for medicinal purposes. So again, I'm looking for those medicinal flavours. I'm looking for, you'll also, sound is a big part of this cocktail, you'll see why in a second. But yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so I've got my Boston tin right here. This is what I'm going to mix my drink in. First thing I'm going to need is a bit of good Buffalo Trace. Now, I don't know about yourself, I love this bourbon. It starts off with a kind of molasses, definitely vanilla from there, and also in the finish, personally, I get plum as well, like a sort of quite sugary fruits. So I wanted quite herbal flavours and a bit of bitters to kind of go with that. So first of all, I'm going to take 50 millilitres of Buffalo Trace and add that to my Boston tin. So easy does it. Lovely stuff, have a cheeky smell. Oh, that's the ticket, there we go. So I've got my Buffalo Trace right there. I'm going to take 2 dashes of Peychaud bitters. Again, Peychaud bitters, Mr. Peychaud ran his business in New Orleans. Again, people attribute the Sazerac cocktail to him. Lovely fruity bitters, was amazing in cocktails. 1, 2. Nicely done. I'm going to take a little bit of orange bitters as well. I'm using Fee Brothers orange bitters. If you've ever used these guys, they do all sorts of peach and rhubarb and all sorts, but yeah, just 2 dashes in there. Again, just to bring out those kind of subtle fruity flavours of the bourbon. I'm going to add just about 10 ml of Benedictine Dom. This is like a herbal liqueur. This has kind of been through the walls of my bottle. I've got a bit of candle wax on there. It's probably been set on fire a few times, but it's still just as good. Smells absolutely amazing. So I'm going to take about 10 millilitres. It's a lovely golden colour. Just drop that straight in there. Lovely stuff. I'm going to take some Antica formula as well. This is a really, really kind of complex vermouth. Kind of got a subtle sweetness to it as well, but loads of really herbal notes and herbal flavours that adds to that kind of feel of an elixir. I'm trying to make an elixir of it, so I'm going to add, again, just about 15 ml of that there. Lovely stuff, there's my Antica. Okay, the next thing I'm going to add, I cooked this up myself in the kitchen. This is called Nui Nui syrup. I make a cocktail in my bar called the Nui Nui. It's like a tiki cocktail, but from a tiki background. And this syrup itself is infused with about cinnamon sticks, star anise, allspice, vanilla, cloves, loads of really interesting spices in there. A couple of secret ingredients as well, but what you get from it is a nice sweetness. It's going to sweeten this drink up, and it's going to add, again, all those lovely spices. So I'm going to add about half a shot of 12.5 ml just into that. Yeah.
Looks a bit like pee in a bottle.
It's good stuff. Trust me, you have a little nip of this, it'll sort you out, man. Okay. So, I have my cocktail on my tin. I'm going to take a good bit of ice. Now the way I'm going to mix this cocktail, a lot of people would say maybe stir it. You don't want to lose that. There's a lot of ingredients in there. I don't want to lose the characteristics of the Buffalo Trace. But I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to throw this cocktail just because it gets it nice and cold. And also it just looks cool. Like I think that should be just allow that. It looks cool. So I'm going to throw this a few times. Yeah, look at that golden colour. Absolutely gorgeous. Just throw that there. I'm going to do this maybe 4 times. We'll see how cold it gets. That's getting all the air into there. It's not chipping off any ice. I'm going to retain all those, all the liqueurs and syrups I've added to that are going to help dilute that Buffalo Trace. I'm not getting the dilution from the ice. So let's throw that a few more times. Oh, that's looking good, man. Okay, there we go. Nice and cold. Good stuff. As always, I'm going to taste my cocktail. I know this one's good, but I love it, man.
What's the name of your cocktail again?
It's called Frontier Medicine.
Frontier Medicine.
That's the one.
Yes.
That's pretty good. Do I have an ice some here, or will I use this? I'll go give that a shake. Next thing I'm going to do, again, my inspiration from the Sazerac cocktail, just to add another layer. I'm going to put a few dashes of absinthe. I'm using Pernod absinthe. It's about 67% ABV. Really strong anise flavour. I'm just going to coat that glass and then cheeky drop that out. Okay, that's pretty good. I'm going to strain my cocktail into my glass. There we go, look at that colour. Puts airs in your chest. You can imagine you've maybe been hiking a long way, you arrived in a city, and again, alcohol was medicine. You got a headache, you go to the pharmacist, they give you a bottle of whiskey. So imagine getting that. So I've got my drink there. The next thing I'm going to add, this is a weird bit of inspiration, but I read a lot about a lot of Native American traditions would involve smelling and inhaling certain herbs. So I've got some rosemary here. I'm just going to take my blowtorch, and when I sear this, it's going to smoke really nicely. If you listen to that, can you hear it? Maybe not, it crackles, and it adds just another layer to drink. It's all about the theatre. I'm going to pop that on top like that. There we go. When you drink this drink, I want you to inhale the rosemary and just, yeah, taste that. There you go. You can probably smell it from way over there. I just think it looks cool, it sounds cool, it smells great. Yeah. That's my cocktail.
Round of applause for Tiger Tiger.